Alright guys, what is going on? So I figured since I'm going to be leaving for vacation soon, this might be a good time to sharpen my pocket knife. Because this is my daily pocket knife that I have to put some lube on or something so that it will go correctly. But anyway, it feels a little dull to me, so I just figured that I'll just make the video on this since I started recording it and then it kind of just like didn't work because my parents came home and I didn't feel like recording. So I've got two that I'm going to do. This one and this one. This is my daily, and this is one that I used to carry that's a manual open. This has been sharpened one time since I've had it, and this used to be my dad's old pocket knife as well. So it's probably a good 10-ish years old, maybe a little less. So I have my towel and my other towel. My other towel, this towel I use to keep underneath the sharpening stone. And then this one I use to keep to clean the blade off at the end. So I have I've got two honing solutions, and I'm probably going to use one more than the other, but I have the Smith's honing solution, and I originally got the little size bottle when I got the Smith's tri-hone sharpening stone. It's a 6-inch stone. So there's the fine, the coarse, and the medium. The coarse you use to set the edge for the blade. The medium is the one that you mainly use to sharpen. And then the fine is what you use to kind of like polish the blade, get it a little bit sharper and all that. And then I know it's not ideal, but after I'm done, I'm going to use my belt to kind of do like a leather strop. Now, I know it's not good to do it on something like this, especially since I wear this one, but I have noticed that some people might say that it don't work, but I have noticed that it does work. But I'll do that later. But anyway, I'm trying to think. I'm probably going to use my Norton sharpening stone oil, and that because on the coarse stone, it just like absorbs everything. So if I find that it won't absorb this, then I'll just go ahead and move to the Smiths. And both of these are food safe. This one, I don't think it says anywhere on the bottle. No, it don't. But I have emailed them before, and they have said that their honing solution is food safe. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Alright, so first I will do my old pocket knife first. So I'm just gonna kind of, yeah, it's just catching and tearing. If you can tell by that, it's just catching it and tearing the paper. Yeah. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, I can already see that it's not catching. So sometimes what I'll end up doing too, because I've had to do this a few times already, I'll use this for the sharpening part and use the Smiths for the for this part. Yeah, no. I need some actual stuff on here. This stuff stays on. And I think it's because that this stuff was actually made for this stone. I think that's the main thing for it. I don't want to get this shit on my pants. So I do sharpen some different ways. One of the main ways is doing it backwards. So what you do is just put your blade flat down lift it up to where it's kind of like, think of it as like the curve of the actual blade, like where the silver is. I know it's kind of, there it is. Where the silver is, that's where you want to sharpen. So with this blade, it does a cut. It does cut. Not like as good as I need it to, or want it to, I should say. So I'm gonna work on this one. Alright, so right now, if some people haven't figured out what I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to make my blade like make the edge straight, so that it's, you know, a straight edge and everything. That's why it's taken me so much longer on this one, because I'm actually really trying for this, but it's a little difficult because this doesn't want to keep any compound, or not compound, but any liquid on here. But alright, so from what I can tell, this is the straightest I'm going to be able to get this blade. So for the sharpening side, this holds compound or liquid a lot better. It's also a lot smoother than that coarse. So I'm going to use this liquid for this knife. Same thing. I just sharpen like this. One good kind of like rule to sharpening is like when you set the edge and everything, when you do the actual sharpening process, make sure you do the same amount each side. So if you do 5 going this way, make sure you do 5 going this way. Which I know I probably did 4 there, but this knife is so old it doesn't even matter because it's actually causing me issues to sharpen because of how much this wobbles. But this is another way I sharpen. That was actually the first way I learned how to sharpen, was doing it like that. Alright, so this one got fairly sharp actually. This one got sharper. So I'm going to just do a few passes with this sharpening oil on it. I honestly don't know much about the difference in some sharpening oils, but I do know that this Norton one works most of the time a lot better than this Smith's honing oil. I don't know why, but only reason I got the Nortons was because that's what I used to use when I was still working in the butcher shop, or the butcher department at the grocery store. Because that's what we used. And it worked. Okay, this got pretty sharp too. Alright, so I'm gonna just... So on the Arkansas side, which is the fine side, it's very, very smooth. I'm still probably going to use my Norton sharpening oil. For the most part, I'll use the honing solution on the coarse grit, and then I'll use the Norton for the other sides, because the other sides doesn't absorb as much as the coarse side. So I'll go ahead and get that going. And 9 out of 10 times, all you're going to need for the Arkansas side is just one line of oil. Sometimes I'll do a little bit more, like right now. I'll do a little bit more because it feels... I know it's not, but it just feels a little dry in certain spots when you rub it in. So I'll just use a little bit more. To me, I've noticed there's not really much of a difference from using a little bit more. So this side is to kind of like help smoothen the blade, and it does help it get a little bit sharper too. So let's go ahead and get going. And then in between knives, depending on how much I used, I'll add a little bit more for the next knife. And then depending on how much more of this is left on, will depend on if I add any more. But I did just add a little bit on so I can do this knife. Okay, so the one thing that really struck me odd when I was sharpening was right in the middle, the screw fell out. So I'm going to have to get that fixed. But in the meantime, both of these are sharpened. And I was kind of testing them. I was doing little tests here and there. So this was the side that started off on the on this knife. It got a jagged edge, got a little straighter, and then it got sharper, and then straight after that. So now that it's done being sharpened, top of there. Just straight down now. Straight through. So that knife is done. And then same thing with this one too. It started off a little, it started off sharp, but there was a few jagged edges. So here's where I'm at now. Straight in. Clean cut. Perfect. That's all I needed it to do. I went to move my hand and I went on my knuckle. I got a little boo-boo. But now I know this knife else. And this knife. My fucking ow. Straight in. So what I'm gonna end up doing is now, after the video, son of a bitch, I'm gonna use a little bit more oil and top it off on the last stone, the fine stone. Just put a little on there real quick. Just get a little there, a little there. Same thing on this knife. So those are all good. So when it comes to the stropping, I need to get an actual strop, which I'm probably gonna get when I come back from Illinois. Probably get like one of the little ones that has the compound on it already. But what I've been doing, it's gonna be a little tough to see, but I'll put my belt on my foot. Like that. Just strap this in and then hold it kind of tight up here and then just take it and just run it like this. So the only reason why I do this is because I don't have an actual strop. So, and I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, it don't work and all that." Actually, it when I, at least when I do it, it does. I'll do 5 more times on each side. Get a little piece of notebook paper, or not notebook. Little notepad paper. That's straight. That's I say it works. But like I said, everybody has their own idea of how to do stuff. But like I said, for me, it works. I've never had an issue. This one I'm not going to do that much because I don't use this. I just figured it was something else for me to sharpen. So, with that being said and done, I have noticed that really there is no difference between this stone and my water stone, other than what you use for sharpening. Like this one, you use oil. For the water stone, you soak it in water, and then you gotta keep water on it so that it stays to where you can sharpen it. But I could always do more. Like for my karambit, I'm gonna use my water stone because it's already old and I don't use it that much. The only problem with doing it is that on the stone itself you can't just sharpen it like this because it's not going to get the full edge. So from what I saw, you can use the corners and run it against. So that's what I'm going to end up doing on my water stone when I get back. This I have sharpened quite a few times on this stone, and both times I did, well, I should say that I sharpened this quite a few times, but this is a lot sharper than this because of the technique I used compared to how I did this one. This one, I just kind of like went like that. Same thing with this side, just like that. Sorry for the noise, I'll turn it down when I edit this. But this is still pretty sharp, but could be sharper. That's why I did the technique that I know best for sharpening on my pocket knife that I carry daily, because I am bringing it with when I go to Illinois. So the rest of this I'm not too worried about. I don't know if I'll do a video. I might when I do my karambit. My karambit is not sharp. I never sharpen this. I tried to actually use this pocket stone that I have. I tried to use the diamond rod to just kind of like do this a little, and it works. It does work, and I have tried to do this. It works actually pretty good, but the stone works a whole lot better. But I have tried. I sharpened this for just around the time that I'm recording right now. It's been about 36 minutes for recording, just about. And I did this for a half an hour one day, and it did not get any sharper. So I'll just have to sharpen it with the stone when I get back, just to see if there's going to be much of a difference. Because I would like to know if there's something I'm doing wrong, or if grommets are just a bitch to sharpen. So anyway, now that I've got that done, that means I am done. So if there's any questions, or if there's anything else you want me to sharpen, I sharpened our whole kitchen basically. But I could always do a video on me sharpening my buoy, or my karambit when I do it with the water stone. Other than that, I don't really have any other knives other than a work knife that I'm gonna try and get an edge on, because I got it a little bit, but it's gonna take some time for me to work on it. And I got just regular fishing knives, like fillet knives, that I already sharpened on these, so they're good. But yeah, like I said, if there's anything you guys want me to show you, just let me know in the comments down below. I do know there are a ton of instructions and stuff that say do it on like a 45-degree angle, or a 30-degree angle or something like that. I've found it best to where when you do it, you set it flat on the stone, and then just lift up until you're at the edge, like the original edge of the blade. And sometimes that's up a little high, sometimes that's a little low, but just go ahead and get it to the edge and then sharpen. Now if you use a leather strop, which I don't have yet, but I will get one, you do it at a slightly less angle than you would for a sharpener, and you just run it back, back, back. So it also all just depends on the blade itself, like what metal it is, because I know there are some metals that are a bitch to sharpen. So yeah, anyway, that was my sharpening video that I finally got done with. So like I said, if there's anything you guys want me to figure out and let you guys know, or if there's anything you guys want to know, just let me know down in the comments, and I'm gonna try and get this screw in. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later.